Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melissa, and this channel is all about psychiatric drug withdrawal, reactions, and recovery. And it draws on my 8 years of experience in this community and my own journey to recovery. And I like to talk about all of the different nuances and layers of this experience and topics that come up frequently in my conversations with people. So today's topic is about battle fatigue. I've made a video about this before, but I want to make a new one because it was something that someone suggested and that people bring up regularly in my conversations with them. And so I want to mention before I get into it that I am coaching. So I have three 30-minute calls and 60-minute calls, and you can find my direct booking link in the description of this video, as well as a link to my website for more information. So battle fatigue is a big one. Most people describe this experience as Groundhog Day. You just live the same experience the same day over and over and over and over. And that gets incredibly exhausting because it's not like maybe a more typical healing journey where month over month you're getting better and better. I mean, I think it would be a lot easier to cope with if that was the case. I know so. It's a fact that it is so nonlinear. Windows and waves don't make much sense. It feels very unpredictable, and that is what scares people and keeps them really struggling with this. It's what I talk to people about probably the most in my conversations. And so this contributes to battle fatigue. So even when someone is maybe further along in their journey and they're still getting pretty intense waves, I think their ability to deal with it and their resources to draw from dwindle because of this fatigue. And so that is why I cannot overstress the importance of support systems. In every conversation that I have with coaching clients, I always ask them, what is your support like? Your real life support? Do you have people in this community? And have you ever talked to a coach before? Because I do think that ideally those are three key things because you cannot go through this in a vacuum. It is the symptoms, they mess with your head so much, the pattern messes with your head so much. It is so easy to get caught in the weeds, lost in the weeds, get tunnel visioned when you're in a wave, and you need help to pull you out of that. And so that's why it looks different for different people. And it's okay if you don't have all three levels, but that is the ideal because real life people provide physical comfort, they provide a sense of co regulation, but they don't get it. They try to, but they don't get it. So that's where you have to turn to people within this community, either people who've already recovered or people who are in it that can pull you up. Because usually, when you have multiple people to draw from, then somebody's feeling a little bit better and it can encourage you when you're down, and then vice versa, because you absolutely need that. This is an incredibly long journey for a lot of people, or at least a lot longer than they had anticipated. And so that's why people are getting tired. It doesn't make sense. They're tired of trying to fix it. They're tired of trying to search for what's wrong now? What did I do wrong now? And so this contributes to people's battle fatigue. So support is absolutely key. Another thing is to develop an incredible amount of self-compassion. I cannot tell you how often I hear in a day, which I'm talking to often like 7 people a day, and they're saying, I hate myself. How could I have been so stupid? I pushed myself too hard. I thought I was invincible. I was in a window, so I thought that, nothing could touch me. Or how could I be so stupid? I had a allergic reaction and I took an antihistamine, or I did this, or I did that. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, or even just reflecting on the experience itself. Like, how could I have trusted the doctors who said it was safe and effective? How could I have trusted that I could come off this drug in 4 weeks thinking I'd be okay? How could I be so stupid? I mean, this comes up a lot. And I had an incredible amount of lack of self compassion in my own journey, and something that I've always struggled with just in general self compassion. I'm very hard on myself. I'm very success and achievement driven. I always have been. And so to just be soft with myself is hard, and a very hard lesson that I've had to learn and I'm still learning because I attach a lot of my self esteem and self worth to achievement. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to get into all the history of where that comes from, the family dynamics, but that's just how I am and have always been. I was always ahead of everybody, and that was how I felt a sense of pride and achievement and worth, essentially. And so then going through this experience, you have to be compassionate with yourself because you can't make sense of it. It doesn't make sense a lot of the time. And all you can do is be kind to yourself, look for small wins, and encourage yourself forward. And when you can't do that, that is when you rely on your success people, or your sorry, not success, your support. Well, it could be success, but your support system to help you through that. because I allude or relate this process so much to grief. And in grief, a grief journey, you need a band of people around you to help you through it, ideally. It just helps the process, and it's non-linear. It's very difficult. It's very painful. There's a lot of layers to it. And so I just want to say, like, if you've been in this journey and it's been particularly long, you're definitely not alone. For me, my journey was long because I had dual withdrawals. I had reinstatement over 4 month period go bad. I mean, my journey was very long, unfortunately. And so there was a lot of things that I had to cling to. My support people, people that had gone through this before me and felt better, developing self compassion, which for me came actually a lot later, acceptance, and just looking at this experience broadly, knowing that one day you're going to get better, clinging to windows. If you're getting windows, like, this is a sign, this is a good sign that my brain and body have the capacity to feel normal or semi normal. That's another big part of it. Finding something to anchor you in, like, how is this going to turn out? So I've talked a lot of on this channel about how I used a ton of the law of attraction. I did a ton of visualization. It made me feel like I was making a difference in how my future would turn out, and that was very empowering. And I anchored myself in that, and it helped me through the fatigue. Like, if I can escape mentally, even though all my symptoms were still with me, to being able to influence my future, which is what I believe, it helped me through the battle fatigue. So those are my best, I guess, ways of encouraging you through if you've had a long journey, or just, I think everybody has a long journey to some degree. And how do you, it's very normal too. I think your perception of waves can change too. It's you, the longer it goes on, the harder it is to tell, like, is this actually worse than other waves, or is it just because I'm more tired and so it seems worse? And it's, I mean, that's the $1 million question. You can't really quantify it that way, but this is a very real thing and a very real problem. Like, people are always saying to me, I'm just so tired. It's so Groundhog Day. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's hard. And so that is my, those are my tips for getting through it. I really would anchor myself and lean on these things throughout my whole journey. I think too I had a sort of, if you can call it, an advantage, because I had already been diagnosed with a permanent condition, being type 1 diabetes. And so I learned at a young age how to cope with something that was permanent or is permanent. And so that, I guess, helped me in some way with my perception, I guess, of chronic conditions and, I guess, suffering. But nothing quite prepared me fully for the withdrawal experience. I can definitely say that. But just the mental shift that has to happen when something is really long, and longer than you expected, or in my case, previous permanent. And so that it's difficult, and it's something that can change along the way, and you need a lot of help through. And so that's why I try to provide resources for people. But let me know your thoughts on this. Are you dealing with this right now? How do you cope with it? How do you anchor yourself in the present day? I mean, it really is important to stay as much as you can in your own experience and living in the moment, because there are days when people are taking it second by second, and trying not to overwhelm yourself with, like, how long this could go on, just really trying to take it day by day. And that is a learned skill as well. So, and it's hard to give up sort of that lack of control, because that's something that I've always struggled with, is feeling out of control. And this experience definitely made me feel that way. But I'm so grateful for where I've come to, and I just try to encourage you all and give you that hope that is so desperately needed. So if you have anything else to add to the conversation here, let us know in the comments, because I know people read them and really need, I guess, all the tips that they can to try out to get them through their own suffering. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay, and I'll see you next time. Bye.